Thank you everyone to join the session, and I hope that you are all well and healthy. We are starting the quarterly update for the second quarter of 2020, and just before we are going and dipping into what are the new updates coming with both Primo and Primo VE, we would like first to make sure that you are all familiar with the new documentation article that we put in our knowledge center with regarding to specifically the situations that we are all in. So we put, and let me go take you to that documentation so you will be familiar with. So when all of this situation was started, we have already conducted 2 webinars with the customer and put cross-product excellencies, some best practices, how to reflect it to your patron, how can you help using our product um, to your can you continue the workflow and reflect the situation to your patrons, so you can be familiar with this page. The webinars, access to the recordings of the webinars are here. There is also a dedicated section for Alma and Primo here, and as you can see for the rest of the question, we put questions that we get from you, and we put in the Q&A question and answer, and also we put in the documentation and presentation over there. You can see some guidelines how to add messages in your discovery. You can use the placeholder of the alert bar or the footer. You can use you can direct your patron to specifically to electronic materials to create only a scope of a search scope of electronic material. We showed you how you can do that in Primo VE and also in Primo backoffice. How you can hint your user with a canned search with regarding to the situation, and so you can review these, and we can add more as ongoing of the situation. Hope that it's going to be but we are going to get it to normal very fast, but we'll see about that. So having said that, I would like to go into the highlights of this quarter. So in this quarter, what I'm going to share with you in this session is the enhancement request about the improved sticky facet behavior. We will show, and I will also show a demo on that. So this is a nurse enhancement. Another nurse enhancement is the efficient workflow, allowing you to automate your reload, delete and reload pipes, but with a new indication in the pipe editor. We'll show you how to do that. It's another nurse enhancement. We are also previously we released the voice search system. Now we are enhancing that, providing a more option to configure the languages if you want a multilingual options, how to define the languages of the speech in your discovery. So I'm going to show you that and which languages are supported. A UX improvement to the database search categories, to the categories stream within the database search. And in Primo VE also in the journal search is also going to be available here. And coming with CDI, the options that customer voted very highly in the ideas is the ability to have a splitted value for audio and visual in the Facet. And in addition to that, we have many Primo VE updates to share with you. So please stay with me. Just before we are going into the details of each one of the features, I just want to put a timeline in front of you. So the timeline is the Primo Sandbox release is expected to be this Sunday on April 26th. A week later, the Total Care Environment multi-tenant production is going to be on May 10, and since that it's going to be rolled out also to the local and other hosted customers. Regarding to Primo VE, in this quarter we are talking about 2 releases, the May release and June release. The May release, as customer requested, as you requested, is now we made it available 2 weeks earlier, so it's already on your sandbox, waiting for you to test. This was a request when we all of us started to work from home. You wanted to be more prepared for the release, so those are the dates. So the release is available for you. Okay, so now let's go into the detail of each one of the features. We will start with the improved sticky facet. So far before this enhancement, the sticky facet was only available when user see the active filter hovering on the specific filters, suggesting the icon of the lock to hint the user that he can use the sticky facet, and you use this facet, make it persistent across all of the sessions. Um, so um, as you can see, this is a nurse enhancement, and there are also a few ideas as a reflecting to that sticky facet functionality is you ask to improve the visibility, to improve the visibility of the sticky facet, to make it by default. So we try to gain all of those ideas into the following enhancements. So the new enhancement that we are having now is the new enhancement that we are having now is the ability to have the new button, remember all filters here. And when this is activated, actually all of the active filters, you are making all of their active filters persistent and can be used across the session. Doing so, having this remember all filters button available, it's actually increasing the availability of the sticky facet, not only by the hovering, but it makes the user be aware on this functionality and use it more. So as you see, this is the enhancement, and this is the changes that just want to share that this feature is available both in my Primo VE and both in Primo in my. And before I'm going to do a demo, I would like to also to note few more changes that we did with regarding to that. Um, we also we also support now an indication on the URL to mark the sticky facet, the sticky filters. So if a patron copy a URL, so if a patron copy a URL and the URL that was already used with sticky facet, you can see the indication, the LK indication specifically for each one of the facets that was locked, was sticky. Um, the ability to add an indication to the URL allows the patron that copied the URL to reuse the URL later on and have it in the same state as it was when he was copied, so we can continue searching using those existing filters. This could be one approach to use the indication. You as a library can currently, with this corona situation, use the indication on the URL to guide your user to search for specific filters. For instance, to guide them to search through available online material, and while they continue their searches, their searches will still remain with the available online facet lock while they're searching. So you can edit from your library portal using that as an assistant to the user to be more specifics on online materials that is currently available for them. So this is an example of how this can be used, the indication in the URL. Another thing that I want to highlight is about the reset filters button and the new search. So far, the reset filter before this enhancement did not clear the sticky filters, and we got from your feedback that this behavior was a little bit confusing for user, and the request from you was to, when patrons click on the reset filter, to clear also the sticky filters as well, not only the active one but the one that are sticky, so it will be totally reset. And same approach for the new search. A new search in the main menu should used as a new search and not necessarily as a navigation to as the journal search is. A new search is currently activated is clearing the search query in the search bar. Now it's going to clear also the sticky facet. So I talked a lot, but it's better to do the demo. So I'm going to summarize all of the things that I did with the demo. With the demo, just um, me- that's a okay, I've already have it here. So I'm in Primo now, and I'm searching for virus outbreak, for instance, and I want to search in everything. Okay, so I'm searching and I'm going to activate, just as a repeat, I'm going to activate a few filters available online and the resource type articles. I'm going to apply my filters, and then we'll have active filters on the right side here. So far, the sticky facet was only available by hovering, hinting the user this functionality is available by the lock here. And now with the remember all filters, it's more visible for the user to make the active filter persistent across the session. So I'm clicking on that here, and the current active filters become persistent. So now I'm going continue search or tuning my search to another one, and my current active filters will remain. As you can see, I renew the search, and I still I'm having the sticky file set here with me. Now, if I'm going to add another one, if I'm going to add another filters, okay, if I'm going to activate another filter, it won't become sticky unless I re-click again either on the single filter or on the remember all filter that now become available for me. So a new filter is not being influenced. This is a situation, okay? I can click again on remember all filter to make all of them sticky, or I can choose to have this one or this one sticky. As I mentioned, uh, as I want to highlight as well, the reset filter so far reset all only the ones that are not sticky. Now with this behavior, the reset filter will clear all, will clear also the sticky facet. And the same will be for the library search, and I will demo that in a minute. So as you can see, the reset filter clear that. Now if I'm now searching for with the filter peer reviewed, and I'm going to click after that on the library search that should be used and named as new search. If I'm going to make it also sticky. The library search here will clear the term in the query, but will also clear the sticky facet. I'm going to clear that, search again, uh, and I will be able to see that there are no any active filters that remain. The library, the new search, library search in the main menu clear also the sticky facet. So this was about the enhancement of improving the sticky facet behavior. Okay, next. Next enhancement that we want to share with you is we call it the efficient workflow of delete and reload pipe. Okay, and the enhancement that I want to share is that customer requested that the claim that each time that the delete and data source and reload pipe was activated, the start harvesting time after the pipe was ending was set to the last time that the pipe was run. And in order to rerun it again, they required them to enter again to the pipe and reset the start harvest time to the initial harvest date. And having doing so, they it actually interfere with automation with automatic process of reload data the, with the workflow. So now, in order to make it easy on you to automate the workflow, the reload data, we add a new indication. It's called use static date in order to use the same initial start harvest date. So if this one is checked, the pipe won't override the start harvesting date with its the last time that it was run. It will keep this date persistent, so you now can automate this pipe, and make it easy on your workflow to work. So this is a nurse enhancement that is being released in my Primo My release. Next is previously we've released a voice search assistant in Primo, and we also released the ability to have the languages. As we released it, the list of the languages that were configured over there was the same as defined in your user language interface. So if you have a user interface languages with, for instance, Hebrew and English, those were the list of languages that you have here. Now we wanted to do better and to use the same to make it different between the user language interface into speak languages, because there are different. For instance, you can see for Arabic there are all kind of languages: Jordan, Egyptian. For Chinese, it's different one. The ones that are for read and write, and the one for speak. So we enhance the feature with those list of supported languages that I would like to share with you. I don't know why it doesn't open. It's open slowly a little. So we'll see here in a minute the list of supported languages that this web speech API is using. This is the list of languages that are for speech. And those are the ones that now will be existing in Primo. So you can mark and enable each one of the languages that you want to have in the speech languages interface. Though those are the one that we are supporting, because this is what the third party is being using. Okay, so this was about the enhancement for the voice search assistant with the multilingual. It's available in Primo My release, going to be available in Primo VE in September release. Okay, another improvement that we did to the UX is in the database search. For the database search by categories, coming from your idea voted highly, we also added the option. Once you click on the category name, for instance education, it not only it doesn't only trigger the search for the database that under the education tree, but it also will open the subcategory, so it will be more clear to the patron that the free database that were found for education are also relevant for the subcategories that below this education. So we know that the symbol here is the one, the arrow here are the ones that only open the tree, and clicking on the category will search for the database and open the tree to the subcategories below. So this is also being released both in Primo VE and Primo in the My release. As a preparation for CDI, we are also providing you with more flexibility to have in the resource type facet the ability to have audio and video resource type separately. So far with Primo Central, the resource type value was the audio-visual one. And now with CDI, you will be able to have audios and videos separated. I want to mark here refer you to the documentation on resource type in the CDI here. As a preparation for when you are going to enable to switch to CDI, you can find your new resource types that are coming in CDI, and also the codes and label that are going to be used for the audios and videos in the Facet resource type. And the reason that I'm stating that is if you have local data that you want to, that is also used as separated for audio visual, and you want it to be blended in, when you blend it to CDI, you have a clear instruction how to do that here. Blend your local data that is split to videos and audio into the same resource type using the same codes that are within CDI. Please take a look on this documentation as a preparation for your switch to CDI. As I said, this was coming from the idea, and also was with CDI enable us to provide that, voted very highly. And we also have we already released this as a preparation in Primo VE, and in Primo My Release, we allow with the code and label to support this. Okay. More updates that I want to share with you is a new action in the Primo Analytics. We call it the resource recommender that appeared. And this action to report you on any search that resource recommenders was triggered there. So it's coming from the idea, and it's you can know how often any recommender resource was appeared in your searches. So this is the way. And another thing that I want to state is, as an annual process with each My Release, both Primo and Alma, we are renewing SAML certificates, calling you to engage with your IT if you have SAML dedication, to also use it and renew the SAML certificate as well. More details are available in the release notes. Okay. So now we covered the things for Primo and also the shared things from Primo and Primo VE. And I now would like to more highlight the Primo VE update, specifically to talk about what is being released in May and June release. As you can see here, this is the list of items we choose to highlight, and we put on which release is going to be marked. I will discuss each one of the items. For some of them, I have a dedicated slide. It's a little bit long list, but please stay tuned with me. Okay, so the first thing that is being released in May and I will demo that also in a dedicated slide, is a new configuration to give you control to determine what will be the criteria to set the preferred record for Fairbear group. We will see a demo for that. Another improvement that we did, a better display for the location facet. So if you have a repeated value in the location facet, you can include library names to make it more clear for users, and I will show you that in a dedicated slide. For consortia, we are making it more easy to manage consortia. Specifically in this enhancement, we are going to provide a way to define a local resource type, custom resource type centrally. So if you want to define a specific resource type, a local resource type centrally, you can go into the network view, add this resource type code and label over there. And once you are doing it within the network view, there is no need for the institution view, to do anything. They will get this definition and they can use this resource type. So it's your ability to manage this centrally. And of course, that I want to state that if one institution view want to override that, they can use the same code and and label to override the definition, but this is to make more easy on consortia to manage local resource type. Okay, another feature that we added to Primo VE My release, it's already been released in Primo, is the action export to Mendeley. So now it is available also in Primo VE. A new action to the export action can be defined over there. You require to do a registration to register your institution to Mendeley, and then you can use this export functionality within your discovery. Another enhancement is that is coming in June is improvement to the get it availability. The get it availability, as you can see here, is the sentence X copy, Y available, Z request. We got a request from the community idea, I think it's an Alma idea, to let you control, to let the library control, to better order this sentence, to make it more clear for user. You, for instance, to make the available the number or the number in the available sentence the first, to play around with the order of the sentence, and even to be more accurate. So, for instance, for French, to say to write zero request with plural is it doesn't correct. So we put zero as a singular. So all of this play around of the order and a better check for whether to state a number with zero request as a singular or plural. There are really easy configuration in the code table that you can change. You can change and affect the order and the way it's look for the get it availability is going to appear for your user. So this is in June release. Another feature that I'm going to talk about in a dedicated slide is the view it from other campuses and libraries, specifically for multi-campuses environment. So I'm going to highlight this one. In June release, we also enhancing the configuration for preferred record for Duido. So you can also here, and I will also demo that for you. Also talk about an improvement that we are doing for the ability to import to use in Primo VE delete and reload when you are loading external data, specifically to highlight that currently that you can now trigger the delete and reload, keeping the permalinks for existing records works and remains. So I'm going to talk about that. Few more features to share with you is a nurse enhancement in Alma that we also did the work for that in Primo VE. The purchase request now in Primo VE in June release is going to be enhanced with another field, with the preferred material field. Allow patron to specify specifically what will be the preferred material to purchase, to give more details for the library. It's going to be a different list per electronic and per physical one, and patrons can choose and give you more idea, more details on the purchase request. More control. Next item is more control to the library with regarding to the booking request. When you are stating a book request, for instance, you would like to book a resource, you would like to book a room in the library, you can better configure the booking resolution. Library can choose to have to affect whether the booking resolution, the time is going to be by hour, by minutes, by days only. So more control going to reflect in the booking request based on configuration that you will state in Alma. In release in Primo VE, we also added the ability to add open access indication to local records, both not only open access indication, also indication and facet for local records, so you can use the definition of that, and we work in the future also to allow that for peer reviewed as well. And finally, I just want to state that for we are going to complete the template of the saved alert email by providing also the unsubscribe link. So within the saved alert email, there will be an option to have the unsubscribe link over there. So a user can choose to unsubscribe from this alert. I know that this is in terms of legal, this is a mandatory in some of the countries. Now it's going to be available in Primo VE. So as you can see, this is where a long list of items. We put the calendar and we do them. There will be a very details on each one of them on the documentation. And now I want to highlight and demo some of the one that I marked here. So let's go and do that one by one. And I hope that you are with me. So the enhancement of preferred record, supporting configuration of the preferred record for Ferber. So now with this enhancement, we are now providing you the ability to define the criteria for the preferred record. For instance, you can set the preferred record, the preferred Ferber record to be the newer one. So if you have a group of 10 records in your Ferber group, you can set the newer one to be the one that is going to be displayed in the brief display. You can also prefer to have the print version rather than the electronic one. The criteria that now and the criteria that you can play with to define which is going to be the preferred record is either resource type or the date or the availability. I'm going to show you an example where we added the criteria for the preferred Ferber record to be the print one rather than electronic. As you can see here, I added the availability of ALMA P as marked to the print one. And I will show you in a minute, and I will show you how it's going to display in the discovery. I just want to mention that it's coming from enhancement. It's going to be available in Primo VE My Release, and in Primo, we are going to add the ability to configure configure the preferred record for Ferber by date in August release. So in Primo, some of these preferences exist are going to add the ability to have the date one as well. So as I stated in the example that I'm showing here, I want you I added the criteria to set the preferred record to be the print one. As then you can see here, I have a preferred record that is with two versions. One is electronic and one is physical. And in the brief display, the one that is going to be printed, visible is the print one, because this one, the one that I'm sent, I would like to demo that for you. So I will first show you the configuration. So in the view configuration within the brief results, what you can see here is we have the dedupe and Ferber one. When we are choosing preferred and enable Ferber, we will have here the criteria for Ferber preferred records. And what I've added is that the added criteria to choose the Alma print on the for the availability. And I also choose the date newest. I could also choose the criteria type of the resource type. And when I'm setting several criteria, the search engine will find the best match top to the bottom. So now, going into my example, as you can see, I have a record with two versions. Going into these versions, I can see one that is electronic one and one is the print. And the one that is being displayed in the brief result is the print one. Is the version will be displayed as the preferred record, because this was the configuration that we stated here in the criteria for the Ferber preferred records. So this is going to be released in the May release for Primo VE. I'm showing you an environment that is also containing the development for June release, and you can see down there below here that the criteria for the dedupe preferred record, we also added this configuration in June release. The criteria is for dedupe is going to be based on the availability. Specifically now, we choose to have the ALMA P also chosen here. So this was about preferred record for Ferber, and I've already shared with you that we are also supporting configuration for the dedupe as coming from the idea being released in June. Okay, next enhancement is improvement to the facet location, allowing the user to better identify the location, specifically in cases when you are seeing repeated value. So without the library name here, when the value is being repeated, it's like stacks several times, without the library name as a prefix, it was hard for the user to understand and to identify specifically the location. So now, if you can choose in the facet location to display the library name, it will help the user to better identify the location. Next item that I wanted to share is the view it from other campuses, other libraries. Previously, in previous quarter, we released the view it from other institution as the ability also to have the ability to see the coverage of online services that is coming from institutions that are nearby. So this was released for consortia. Now, for multi-campus environment, we are enhancing this. We are adding this capability to view it from other campuses or other libraries. So users can see not only what they have in their institution in view it, they can also see what is the coverage for electronic material what coverage exists in other campuses nearby or in other libraries nearby, and then they can choose to decide whether to go to drop there and to get access to the material over there. I would like to state that the information that we are displaying is only information and not links due to restriction issues. So we are now allowing to view it from other campuses. You will have a new configuration if you are on multi-campus environment, and you can choose in the drop-down whether to filter by campus or library. Here an example for view it from other campuses when the filter is showing the campus A and campus B, and I can drill down into campus A to see the online resources over there. Same goes for online services information from other libraries. So this is being released in Primo VE June release to provide more option for user to see available information, available services. Now, the last feature that I'm going to talk about it is delete and reload while keeping permalinks. So you can now go into the import file profile editor, and if you have an external data that you want to import again to reload, you will have the option to have reload and delete. And this option will actually allow you to reload the entire set again, and assuming that whatever you are reloading now is the data that is going to be exist in the index. Any data that exists in the index and is not part of the set of records that you are about to reload is going to be deleted. We are doing this enhancement in order to make sure that any existing records that you are now triggering the reload and delete again, if the records were exist and we only wanted to trigger reload in order to change your normalizations again. So we are now with this option, make sure and guarantee that the permalinks that are existing for you, that the permalinks that were existing for the existing records will remain. So this was the main highlight for this development, allowing you reload and delete and keeping the permalinks works. We added, once you're triggering that, we have a confirmation message to make sure that you are aware that you are using import profile a job that with import profile that is not dealing with a delta on the data, but it's using the entire set of records and loading all of the data. So we added a confirmation message to tell you that deleting records are going to be records that are not in the set are going to be deleted. Anyhow, we are now make sure that you are keeping the permalinks work. Okay, so this was about optimizing all of the reload data. Uh, and now I'd like to give a brief update on CDI since it's already in the rollout phase. And the status is that we are triggering on each week and we're enabling more and more environments to make them CDI enabled. So far we have this is a number of customers, more than 900 Alma customers are CDI enabled. That means that they can choose in any moment to go and switch into production. That the environment is ready. You can see now that 59 of the institutions are already on production with CDI, and we are about to start with the enablement phase for the SFX customer by the end of May. If you want to have more information about CDI, this is a link to all of the information. And if you have specifically a question for that, you can use a mailing list of CDI info to to get the answer for your questions. And now we are covered everything that I wanted to share. I want to share you what is coming soon. So in the next quarter, we are going to develop the export to Excel enhancement, and nurse enhancement. We are also adding enhanced personalization feature. That means show me my recent search scope. For instance, institutions that have in their search scope a long list of search scope can choose to have this feature activate, allowing the user to use the most common search scope at the top to access more easily to their common search scope. For instance, if I'm a student for medicine and I tend to search more often the health library, so I will be easy access for the health library because it's going to appear on the top of my search results because it's going to be my recent search scope. So this is an enhanced personalization feature. We are going to improve the link to Leganto link, make it more accurate. So whenever reading lists are in draft mode, the link will not be available to access from the Primo full record. Another enhancement that we are doing, we will work on um, providing a PDF indication on the Primo brief results, allowing user a direct link to PDF using the unpaywall. And for Primo VE, we are continue to enhance and make it more easy to configure. For instance, if you would like to configure resource type, we are going to provide you with more conditions, with multiple conditions to determine the resource type. For consortia management, we are going to help you define centrally also local fields for search and for display. In this quarter, we did the enhancement to help you define a local resource type centrally. Now, in the next quarter, we are going to allow you more easily to define for all of the consortia local fields for search and display. So I think that I covered all of the things that I wanted, and good luck to us all, and I would wish all of you a good health